So let's see if Dia can win the third map, or if it's going once again San who is victorious here in the 6 PvP that he plays in a row right now. Starting to the top left, we have San, our Korean Protoss player in red.
A Taiwanese team from Yo Flash Wolves.
Yeah, playing a great series so far, and it really looks like he has Dia's number. The Mousebots player spawning to the top right of Habitation Station. And he has said that he has a lot of builds prepared, a lot of things that he hasn't shown just yet. He has to prove it, and he has to prove it right now.
So far it's San who's running away with this match. And very interesting that he would take the first 2 maps here, considering he just showed 3 of his builds. And I guess you could argue that in the second map against Stardust, he showed 3 builds in one game. Because he made Stargate cancelled, made something else cancelled, and made something else.
Diablo we're looking at is, okay, he could go Stargate DTs,
Stargate DT Robo, Twilight Blink.
Yeah, didn't really tell him a whole lot. But so far, the thing is, San was really aggressive in those games. And I expected much more Dia to be the aggressor in the series. We talked about it a bit earlier, that Dia seems to be the one who really tries to apply some pressure, and he also said that he has a lot of builds prepared. So I thought that San would just try to play it a little bit safer than that, but he was always the one putting the aggression out there, and that works really well for him. So let's see what exactly he's going to do. He probably also talked a little bit to his current roommate at the hotel to start us, what he could do there. We could really see that after the semifinals, both of them still good friends here, having a lot of fun, of course, even though Stardust was quite sad that he lost the series. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
He's a great sport.
Yeah.
No matter what sadness he carries in his heart, he carries it privately, and he shows a smiling face to the rest, which makes everyone feel good.
And they
Very
definitely
nice
talked
guy.
about the series that San had coming up. And, well, let's see how that's going to work out. We have already the second gateway being started here for Dia.
Zealot being made for San, which... Is he just going to use it for scouting, or will he try to maneuver it around the map, run straight into the main base, even at the risk of losing it, just to get that scouting info? It's something that we've seen Patience do a lot before.
And what we also see right now is that we see for Dia again a sentry. So Dia with a sentry back at home, and the second gateway will of course give him a superior production. He's once again moving that mothership core across the map. The same is also true for San. So a little bit of a meet and greet in the middle of the map between the 2 bases. And San is going into that Stargate.
All right, mothership cores intersect there, and will be able to attack each other's probes. Of course, Deer has 2 stalkers at home, so he is definitely going to be able to zone out that stalker. The question is, why is he turning around with his own mothership core? Is it because this Zealot could potentially signify an early harassment, like an early 3-gate all-in? I think that's what he fears.
I think he's really afraid now that he's once again being attacked because San showed so much aggression.
He thinks it's like a 10-gate 3-gate with that Zealot.
The problem really for him being is that he doesn't see the Stargate just because of it. He didn't really move with the mothership core all the way into the base of the Protoss player to the top left. Has no idea what exactly he's up against. And he's about to start his Nexus on the low ground. Does he really have the defense in his main so that he can work against the Oracle? Depends a lot on which path the Oracle actually takes. The Stalkers are already moving a little bit down there. That will result in a few probe kills.
Deer's doing a bit of an old build here, which I used to do a lot. Hasselops has played this build a lot as well in the European server. It's a very safe build, but that was before the Oracle got their speed boost. It gets harder and harder to defend against that very mobile Oracle. One Oracle is still kind of okay. If there's a second one, that could get really difficult for Deer. However, this is still, having said that, one of the best maps to do this kind of 1 or 2 gateway expand, because the ramp leading up to the natural is very narrow.
Of course, the one hallucination already spotted that we have the Oracle tech, so right now we see just here positioning a lot of units straight into the mineral line. That Oracle shouldn't do too much as long as we don't have a saturation at the natural. And we see Blink coming into play for Deer now, whereas on the other end of the map, San also adds the Twilight Council, but he's a lot later than his opponent here that already started the upgrade. He's starting his Chrono Boosters too.
Now this is about the best setup that Deer could hope for. If I was asked by someone, the opponent's got an Oracle build, like a Stargate build, what is your ideal counter build if you could make it happen? I would say 2-gate expand Blink. That's exactly what he has. So that is a very nice build position for Deer. He's sustained no losses at all to either the Zealot or the Oracle, so that's great for him. Now San, he is scouting around with his Oracle. If he sees that Deer is not adding a Robo, he could just throw up a Dark Shrine.
I actually thought for a second that he would try to hide the Dark Shrine at the bottom right because we saw a pylon being built there.
No probe in the neighborhood.
Yeah, because
that would have been great.
Well, he actually had a probe there, but he moved it then away. The one thing that's always a little bit weird is if you get for a Dark Shrine in your main base, you kind of ask to be scouted because in Protoss versus Protoss, we see so many hallucinated Phoenixes just always moving in. So he kind of already toyed with the idea, okay, this is going to be spotted. And he did. He's trying to pull that move again where he just cancels it. And I think it was already spotted. We saw the hallucinated Phoenix moving in again, right?
Yeah.
So that was a confirmation by Dia. He learned from the games that he observed earlier.
You've got to be sure about what you're seeing. You've got to see the finished building or it doesn't mean anything. I was kind of wondering if San was straight away throw up the Dark Shrine again after the cancellation was confirmed. But he is not getting that crazy.
Okay, now you're just like making my brain hurt. Like this, this is going to be a little bit too much. But if it would work, that would of course be great. Trying to fake him out here even twice. San is doing the same thing. Hallucinated Phoenixes everywhere, and well.
Yeah, that means that this game will go on for a bit. With both of them scouting each other out that well, they can't really all in each other. It'll be too easy to see the other one coming. It's kind of like doing a surprise attack and then shouting, "For Ire!" when you're running from the forest, which is also kind of nerdy. Cause
I would actually like that, though.
It's not very smart when you're trying to do a surprise attack.
Who cares about smart? We're here to be entertained. We have now double robo coming up, one for each player, so it's going to be a laser beam game once again. That Oracle needs to go away immediately. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Didn't he have blink?
Yeah, he did.
He actually attacked it, so why didn't he just blink forward and killed it?
Yeah, he could have attacked once, blink under it, and then definitely kill it, but he must have been busy somewhere else. This game could go kind of long, Calder. With the setup that they have here, scouting each other out really well, upgrades coming, the Robo Bay coming with the Colossi, it will be very difficult to find an early timing against each other. They should be looking to take a third pretty soon.
They should be looking to wait for the next 10 minutes, build up the Colossi count, and then meet in the middle of the map and decide the game in like 5 seconds.
That's the necessary evil that this matchup sometimes takes. If you want to play safe, if you want to do it right.
Can we fast forward a little bit to that point?
If you fast forward the bad bits of your life, you'll fast forward the good bits too. A wise man once said.
Wasn't that a weird Adam Sandler movie where that came from?
Yes, exactly.
I wouldn't call it
okay,
Sandler
not so wise man. A wise guy, not a wise man.
You're watching entirely the wrong movies, dude.
Click.
All right, so right now we have for Dia the Templar Archive coming in, and he also is the player with a faster third base, but San Counters was just simply taking the gold expansion. And that's one of the big things that we have here in Habitation Station. I actually like that move. He would open himself up against a bit of Oracle harass, actually, if there was an Oracle for his opponent, which is not the case. So I feel he would have loved Dia to take that gold base. The Oracle could have just moved in between the natural, the main, and the, of course, third base then. Yeah. And that would open up a lot of potential aggression here for him. But so far, we see both of them just heading into the upgrades and kind of doing what we described earlier, trying to get the Colossi count up, trying to get their own Templar Archive for the Archons then later on. And it's just this, like, wait and see, trying to get an edge with the macro game while posturing around in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is, but we do see San has always shown a little bit more daring in this matchup. He takes the gold, he takes the tower, and that could help him. Being the one that is control of the map, he feels more confident. He feels like he can go make something happen. Maybe make a war prism and do some kind of shenanigans in Deer's main base.
Yeah, we'll see if that works out for him, because so far he's just about to complete the gold base. It will definitely give him a big boost in the income. He's already transferring the probes over.
By the way,
Colossus number is actually better for San. Dia didn't even start a Colossus.
Yeah, it was very strange. He was making a Colossus, suddenly cancelled it, and went to full Immortals. I have no idea why he's doing that. The Robo Bay got scouted. Is he afraid that San, having a Stargate, would go for Fleet Beacon? I'm not sure that's enough justification not to just go for Colossus anyway. Deer, having this big Stalker Zealot Immortal Archon army, is now forced to attack because his army will grow to be obsolete. If he waits for too long and he waits until San has like 7 Colossus, it doesn't matter how good your spread is, you won't win with that kind of army. So he's forcing himself to attack, and I don't know if that's a good idea. It could be genius or it could be a horrible idea.
Well, he's up against 3 Colossi already, and it's all about position once again. That one Colossus is already forced back, but the Stalker's blinking forward, actually trying to take it out. He gets it, and that was really important for him, but we have a big battle in the middle of the map right now. The double time off going down by both players. and it's the Colossi that really dish out the damage here. Deer is trying what he can, moving forward with all of the Archons, and he's of course always utilizing the Immortals, trying to pressure the Colossi of his opponent, but it's Sun with an insane DPS that is taking a massive lead in the army supply. 58 against 40. Deer is really struggling here. Only 2 Archons are left, and they are under Time Warp influence as well, trying to make their way forward. But the Colossi, they were completely uncontested throughout the entire fight.
Yeah, it's always been like this in PvP. Colossus are much better in fights than not, and now with the Time Warp... I mean, now with the Time Warp, he couldn't even get near the Colossus. The 4 Stalkers on the Colossus, I really like that. He killed that Colossus very, very cheaply. But in the main fight, he just got smashed. He has his own Robo Base, so he could be making a War of the Worlds here, but he has chosen to be the underdog in this match.
I mean, a Queen off creep in the Time Warp kind of moves backwards in time, probably the slowest units in StarCraft 2, but the Archon, in my opinion, is a close second. So they had no chance of closing the distance here. And San, as we already talked about, he's currently looking at 75 army supply against 55, taking a 20 army supply lead here. And he has that Colossi count. That makes him super scary. He has 2, doesn't build a 3rd one just yet, but even that gold base just giving him the extra income here. So the position for San is just great. And if he really takes the 3-0 lead here, it would be absolutely incredible.
An almost insurmountable disadvantage for Deer that would be. I must say that I lay prostrate here and confess my ignorance as to why Deer is not using his Robotics Bay. At any time he could have decided to start adding some Colossus, but he's choosing not to do it. He's going up against a Mothership Core once again, which will have 1 Time Warp, and that will just make it so easy for San to micro his Colossus against this army from Deer. There is, however, a pretty nice spread for Deer. Could that potentially help him? I don't think so, because San has too many Zealots.
It's just those Colossi as well. I mean, he's moving in already. The Zealot count at this point is 28 to 23, and here we go, charging in. The Colossi melting the Zealots of Deer away as we speak. The army supply already dropping for the Mousesports player. San is doing what he can. The Archons may be able to change the tide of the battle, but it doesn't really look like it. They're just evaporated here, taken down one by one. There's nothing that gets close to those 2 Colossi, and they dish out so much damage. We have 8 kills on one of them, 10 on the other, but just area of effect damage that dish out here. It's way too much. And San, a 3-0 lead. And look at Deer right now. He's completely crushed there.